الحمد لله وكفى والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فاشكروا لي ولا تكفرون وقال الله تعالى في مقام آخر لئن شكرتم لأزيدنكم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran al-Kareem has given us the hukam to do shukr. Shukr means to have thankfulness, to have gratitude for the ni'mas of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in a very powerful way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala contrasted this shukr with kufr. Washkuruli, have shukr towards me, wala takfurun, and do not have kufr. Because kufr again in Arabic language means to deny. So shukr at its basic level means number one, to acknowledge the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and thereafter to be thankful and grateful for them. A person who does not have shukr is actually denying the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which means it's a kind of denial of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. One is to deny Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's wujud, his being, his zat. That is atheism. The second is to deny one of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's attributes, his sifat. That can be shirk. And the third is to deny any of the inayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, any of the ahkam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is a sin, and this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also mentioning as kufr. So be grateful to me and do not be ungrateful. Be grateful to me and do not be an unbeliever. What exactly is shukr? Number one, first way to do shukr is to be grateful or thankful with your tongue. That is what we normally do in human life with one another. You will be amazed that we are so trained in being polite that if anybody gives us something, it is considered impolite if we don't say thank you. For a fellow human being, we are so insistent on doing shukr. Somebody can give you a single coke and you will feel obliged to say thank you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can feed us a whole meal and we still forget to say alhamdulillah after. If you want to check your Sawm, your Roza in this month of Ramadan, then just see, do I say alhamdulillah after every iftar, after every suhoor, after every meal? If I don't even say that much, what's wrong with me that the whole day I fasted from Fajr to Maghrib, I spent this 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 hour fast, and even then, afterwards, I still forgot to say Bismillah before I ate, or I forgot to say alhamdulillah after I ate. But if somebody gives you something, you'll always say thank you. If you're better, you'll say jazakallah. Allah Ta'ala reward you, right? Here, the first way to do shukr is with the tongue. So the first way to do shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to say his hamd. The second way to do shukr is through obedience, through ita'at. A grateful servant is an obedient servant. A grateful servant is a following servant. So the second way to do shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to pray. That's why people say, "Main do nafil shukrana paranga." What does it mean? That I'm going to offer my shukr through salah, through nawafil, through ibadat. That is another way to do shukr. Third way to do shukr is to use the blessings that he has given us in his obedience, or at the very least not to use them in his disobedience. So a person who is truly grateful for having eyesight would think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you gave me this vision, you gave me these eyes, my shukr to you will lie in not using these eyes to do anything which displeases you. My shukr to you will lie in using these eyes in your obedience. That is also shukr. To use the ni'mat that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us in his obedience to earn his pleasure. or at the very least not to use them in such a way that would be his disobedience or earn his displeasure. Fourth way of shukr is to remember our humility. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned in the hadith about an earlier community from the Bani Israel that there were 3 men who were poor, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent an angel to each of them, who gave the first one a flock of goats, gave one a flock of camels, gave one a flock of cows, gave them wealth, and all of a sudden they became wealthy, and they started living their life in a state of wealth. A long time after, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent an angel again, who appeared to them in the guise of a poor person. So the poor person went to the first one, and the first one had this problem? The first one was a person who was bald. He was bald, and people used to make fun of him because he was bald. And on top of that, he was poor. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent an angel who had given him wealth and given him hair. So the poor person went to him, the angel went to him in the guise of a poor person and said that I'm a needy person. Allah ta'ala has given you so much. Why don't you give me something out of what Allah has given you? So he replied that, oh, you poor people, you always come and ask. You don't earn anything on your own. Why do you say Allah has given me this? I earned for this. I worked hard for this. You should also work hard for whatever you want. So take it. Left. Sure enough, that person's flock of animals started to die, and his baldness also started to return. Second person, also, and I can't remember now, had some other issue which Allah Ta'ala had solved in addition to giving him the flock. This man, again, Allah Ta'ala sent this angel in the guise of a man. He went to him and said, I'm a poor person. I ask you to give me in the name of Allah. MashaAllah, Allah Ta'ala has given you so much. Why don't you give me out a little bit from the share that Allah has given you? It's the same thing, that, oh, you poor people, always invoking Allah, taking Allah's name. This is my own effort. This is my own hard work. Same thing happened to him. His flock started to die. The third one, he went to the third one, same thing. And I'm a poor person. I ask you in the name of Allah. MashaAllah, Allah has given you so much. Why don't you give me something out of the share that Allah has given you? So that man remembered his awqat, and he said that, oh, poor person, sit down. Wallahi, you are right, absolutely, I was nothing. Everything you see, Allah has given me. And alhamdulillah, my sheep are filling the whole valley in between the 2 hills. Every sheep that you see is mine. But you were completely right that whatever I have is only because Allah Ta'ala gave it to me. So go take however many sheep you want. You ask me in the name of that Lord who gave me everything that I had, then I can only but offer you everything that Lord gave me. Then that angel revealed himself and said, I'm that same angel who came to you so many years ago. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent me again to test whether you would have istiqamah, to test whether you would have shukr, or to see whether you had outgrown yourself, when you had outdone yourself. And sometimes this happens to us when we achieve something. We forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We forget our humble origins. We're a PhD, we're an MBA, we're a student at LUMS, and Nojavan. I have my Toyota, my Honda, Allahu Alam, I have my Mercedes, my BMW. You feel like you're on top of the world. You feel like you're something. The reality is we're nothing. We are nothing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To remember our humility. Part of the reason why we have so much ghafla, the one reason is laziness. Pakistani Nojavan, illness number 1, susti. Pakistani Nojavan, illness number 2, takabbur. Takabbur not necessarily vis-a-vis somebody else. Takabbur in sense of not having their humility